This is the 8-9 combo. This is immediately after the Wallabies have just beaten Argentina in La Plata and Harry Jones. This is unscripted. This could go anywhere.
How's it? Happy Father's Day. What a really nice way for you to start Father's Day.
And a shout out to my family. I was greeted at 10 minutes before kickoff with some presents and breakfast, and now Wallabies win. So
how good?
I'm having a pretty bloody good day at the moment. So look, a fantastic result for the Wallabies. 20 points to 19 over Argentina in La Plata, and I mean it was an utterly confusing game. It really was. It was the environment was all over the place. The clock was stopping and starting. The shot clock was out. There was disconnect between referee and TMO at different points. There was knock-ons being missed. The offside line was questionable all night. And then Argentinian players were wanting everything sent upstairs. There was someone went down for a shoelace and they wanted the TMO to check that it was actually the right shoe that came undone. It was a crazy, crazy game. And for a change, it's gone Australia's way. And I'm here for that now.
It seemed like one of those games where it was just persistence. It was sticking to it. It seemed like a classic Joe Schmidt type approach where maybe we saw for the first time what it might look like. Holding the ball maybe almost too long sometimes, hoping against hope. It was at 77 minutes and you thought, oh no, you've botched it. There was a breakaway and Noah was up the right side and there was sort of a, pick one or two. It went one way, it didn't work. And yet it still managed to win. So I think it was a triumph of poise, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think they take a lot out of that. And it was a game with little wins and plenty of little losses as well. They hold it for 27 phases there in the first 10 minutes. And I reckon they made 4 meters maybe. But then there's obviously a message gets out to them at one point. You can't just pick and drive around the corner, guys. We've actually got to shift the point of contact. And then they started playing more off Lolosio at 10, and they actually started making ground, and that's how we saw the couple of tries that come as well. So there was good little adjustments, which was good. We'll go through the normal things. So what worked well for the Wallabies, in your opinion?
Persistence, poise, patience. The captain, I think Harry Wilson exemplifies those things of just sticking to it, building an innings, digging in. I think not getting flustered. I think there were times in the last 2 or 3 years where Wallaby teams would get into a position to win and then they would get flustered for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's a small win, but just staying calm.
Yeah. It was a good one. And, on the other side of the coin, I don't think they took a restart cleanly all night. There was a few too many handling errors and turnovers. There was numerous things that the line out got a little bit shaky, but the ruck and breakdown work was really good. Carlo Tizzano was fantastic. And just after I'd written that he can't just be making 20 tackles a game, the workload was shared defensively. I know Bell made a heap of tackles, Fessler made a heap of tackles. I think it might have been Nick Frost or Valentini or both of them made a heap of tackles as well. But that sharing of the load meant that Tizzano actually had moments on the ball and he won a couple of turnovers and he was great. I was so happy for him.
I'd have to look back on it. Admittedly, a bit foggy, but I think Laurie Fisher might have rearranged some of the shaping of that so that Tizzano was not able to be forced into being a tackler, which is tough. The young guy is difficult for him to read the game that way. Someone may have made it where he was more like the second guy in. But I just think in general, it was one of those nights where it was so sloppy that there was going to be these things and something more mature just kicked in and said, but it's also for them. And instead of trying to do too much, they just kind of kept at their task. And it was like a yeoman kind of, blue collar approach, which I thought fit Harry Wilson's personality.
Yeah, absolutely. Argentina were trying to play a very patient game as well. And they had done enough to regain the lead there with 10 minutes to go. But I wasn't 100% sure that they were playing the right kind of rugby to hold them out. I think they were always just waiting for an Australian mistake rather than trying to force anything their way. What do you think maybe didn't go so well for them?
Yeah, so you're the home team. I think you want to, that the referee is going to be under pressure to make some calls here and there. I just feel like they didn't play the referee very well. And admittedly, in defense of the Pumas, it was a difficult night to read the referee. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I even think at the end of the match, it was almost like a microcosm where the referee was trying to make something was very simple, which is the clock had run out. It made that into something. And I was like, oh my God, are you going to somehow tack some time on the end, or what's going on
and
here?
That last 80 seconds actually exemplified the way the whole game was officiated. The penalty was given, I think, with about 70, 75 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
But it was well inside the last 60 before Australia said, we'll go for goal. So at that point, the clock starts, and then there's a conversation about whether there is a restart. I'm sure I heard TMO or referee say, so there will be a restart. Donaldson does the right thing, waits till after 80 minutes, but inside his 60 seconds, kicks a penalty, and then Dolan rules it's over.
It was just, to me, it was such a puzzler. I was like, guys, I don't know how in rugby we keep getting this wrong, but our relationship with the clock in rugby is very tenuous right now. We need to sort this out. It's just, I mean, I'm very happy. I'm super happy for Australia. I'm just saying, I could see how Argentinian fans be going, what's going on here? You know, and the whole thing just seemed, like you said, a very strange old game.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes you just have to win those games with, like I said, the personality, it's like character building to be on the road in La Plata, a messy night, and just grit it out.
Yeah. And look, I'm glad. I hope that Argentinian fans are confused about that, because as an Australian fan, I'm utterly confused about how the game played out. So it makes sense that both sets of fans are confused about that. Who learns what lessons from this game going back to Santa Fe next week?
Oh, I just think Joe Schmidt's been got a folder, and he's got like planning, and he has these spreadsheets maybe up your alley, and he's been doing this. I think he's been. I don't even think he's. I'm not sure he's doing sort of an elimination game so much as he's trying to find who can fit into his long-term plan, and so he would just have got a little more information. I thought Angus Bell and Tupou would have made him a happy coach. So he learned about some players that he hadn't really seen Tupou and Bell have extended minutes that much. So that's probably what he got from
together.
it.
Yeah.
And maybe his captaincy pick, he would have said, I saw the right things. I'm not saying Harry Wilson's the permanent captain.
No,
but if he does become one of those, leadership vice captain guys, I think he'd look back on this night and say, on a cold, dark night in La Plata, Harry Wilson did keep his cool.
Yeah. Look, I think they would be pleased to see the little shifts within the game they saw. And as I said before, I think they take this game as a series of little wins, little steps, some mistakes and some poor decisions at times. Jake Gordon tells Harry Wilson to go 8-9 down a 3-meter blindside in the Argentinian corner. Wasn't a great moment in 8-9s, I've got to say.
Yeah,
but
true.
There was little moments where the composure did stand up, and that's how they win the game.
So you pointed to a couple of things I saw online about shifting the point of attack. I think in a high ball control offense system where the Wallabies are shifting big away from Eddie Jones, where hot potato, 3 or 4 phases, got to get rid of it. Joe Schmidt's preaching in some ways by holding on to the ball, even if you don't make a lot of progress in 27 phases, you're also keeping the ball away from someone else. Do you see there was an evolution in how that was constructed? Because it seemed like to me they were doing it differently. They were coming at it differently. By the second half, I felt like they had a different shape. Do you think there was some inkling? Yeah.
I'd say I think there was an adjustment in the first half when they first started playing off second receiver almost. And then after halftime, I think they added width to that as well. And so they were then able to get to maybe the third and fourth defender rather than the first and second, third. They were actually able to get out a little bit wider. They could make the extra meter past the gain line. They got a few offloads away, and then they could actually start getting quick ball, and they were making ground, and that's how they're able to get upfield so well. So, as I say, I think it's a series of good little wins, and the Wallabies right at this point in time would just be celebrating this up because, well, they should.
And they also did the Springboks kind of a favor in that by doing this, the log looks mighty good for the Boks.
Yes, that's true. It really does. It really does. And look, on the topic of the Boks, head on to back within the YouTube channel with our test match post-mortem after the Ellis Park test a little earlier this morning, last night, your time. That was another Ellis Park thriller with the Boks winning 31-27. But, mate, I think we have covered this off in the little way that we wanted to, a little bonus for our YouTube friends. We are accepting that we are YouTubers. So here's a little something for you all to say thank you and to cover off this game as well. Anything else to add, mate?
I'm just really happy for all my Australian friends who have been, I think, seeking this kind of win on the road to validate this new beginning, the Renaissance, or whatever it's called. Good on you.
No, it's a good shout. It's a good shout. We'll be back early in the week with former Argentinian centre Marcelo Bosch, friend of the pod, and look, one of us, we're always going to be unhappy after this game. I'm a little bit sad that we have to bring Marcelo Bosch in after a loss, but there's going to be plenty to talk about. So we'll come back to you all very soon when we're back in your ears.
Come play with us.
Yeah.
I just realized they will be kind of awkward.